Let's talk about workspaces in Autocad Plant 3D. Remember, there are many user interface elements in Plant 3D. You have ribbons, you have your ribbon going across the top, you have tabs, each one of these divided into tabs. You have panels within the tabs, such as the parts, the modify, etc. And then you also have tools within each one of those. You got a command line down here, you have a status bar down here, you have quick access toolbar. Lots of things. It can be a little less daunting though if you customize this to the way that you want to use it. And that's why we're going to talk about workspace settings right now, so that you can customize a workspace setting so that you can have a customized workspace. So let's take a look. Where do we find this workspace switching tool? Well, let's go ahead down here. If you look down at your status bar down here, you'll see a tool. If you hover over a little gear shaped tool, it says workspace switching. If that's not shown on yours, you may not have it exposed. Go ahead and click on this little customization, little 3 lines on the bottom right. And when you look at customization, make sure that your workspace tool is checked, workspace switching is checked off, and you'll have that appear. Now, another way to do it, if you remember, if we hovered over this, you'll see it says WS current. You can also type in WS current here. And whenever you type in WS current, it'll ask you which value that you want to put in. What I tend to do is I keep a workspace tool in my quick access bar up here. If it's not shown in yours, just use your drop down here and make sure that you have workspace checked off. See if yours is without it. If you just use the drop down, you can go ahead and put the workspace tool on, and then you'll have access to that. So let's see how all of this works. Let's go ahead and switch the workspace setting tool from 3D piping to, let's go to PNIP. I'm sorry, PNID, but we'll do the PIP setting. All right, so looking at this, you'll see that all the tools have changed. We don't have the same thing. You have a different palette. So that's what workspace does. It allows you to customize your tools for what you're about to use. Now, maybe you want to have a specific setting. So let's talk about how you can change it so that you can have more convenience in your working. So let's go ahead and move a couple of things around. Let's say we're going to go ahead and build something off of the PNID PIP environment. And let's say that you really don't need this annotation thing for here for some reason. Just right click on your ribbon right there, and then you can take off or show anything that you want in the ribbon. You can also control what you want in the tabs. Go ahead, switch those up any way that you like. Uncheck, add to it. You could even undock the ribbon and put it somewhere else. In other words, make any changes that you want. Perhaps you want this palette to be locked in on the side or even on another screen. If you do that and right click on it, allow docking. Let's say we're going to anchor it to the right. So now you have it anchored to the right, and we're also using the auto hide feature, which basically means that we're going to let it draw up like a shade whenever we're not using it. Okay, so if you want to save that as your unique workspace setting, use your little drop down right here and do save current as, and then go ahead and give it a name. Let's just say custom PNID. And it's as simple as that. Now whenever you use this workspace drop down, you have it set for custom PNID, and you can select or change any ones that you want. Now, if you need to say make some changes to the way the settings appear, maybe I don't want this separator here. I'll take these separators out, and I had this old job 5 one. I want to take that out as well. So I'll just go OK. And now when I look at this, I have no separators and I don't have that job 5 anymore. If you want to say, well, let's see, maybe I can move this ISO up a little bit and this ISA up, and I want to do that, and then I want to add a separator in. Then you can say okay, and now you'll have that in there. One more important thing to mention here is right here where it says when switching workspaces, if you make any changes, if you don't want those, if you want just some on-the-fly changes in your workspace and you don't want them to become permanent, make sure you have that radio button turned on. If you do want it to save any changes that you make, then choose the other radio button that says automatically save workspace changes. Well, that's about all you need to know to have your customized workspace settings.